Football is back. Inter versus Barca, 7-6 in the Champions League. This is why we love football. Home and away, it was the exact same game. I mean, two clubs with insane amount of history just giving it all to try and get into that Champions League final. You cannot ask for much more, especially in a semi-final. It wasn't boring. It was end-to-end. It had everything you would want in a semi-final. It had. I mean, if anyone didn't deserve to lose that game, Yamal. I mean, he is just a breath of fresh air. He is one of, if not the best teenager I've ever seen in my life. It might just be because watching him now, but the way he just gets the ball and immediately looks to take people on. He's not worried if he's got two people on him. You just can't stop a player like that. He is just so good. We all knew he was world class. Euro spoke for itself. But the performance he put in against Inter and to not come away with the win, I mean, I did feel bad for him because he dropped a 10 out of 10. I mean, there's not much more he could have done. Another shout out to Dumfries. He was absolutely amazing. I mean, he was up and down, whipping balls in. I mean, some of the balls he whipped in for that first leg were an absolute joke. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the Prem. Now, I'm not saying he should have to come to the Prem because he's doing fine and he's a class player anyway. But I just wouldn't be surprised if a team like Man United, after that one performance, come in and whack in a 60 mil, 70 mil bid on him. It seems to be what they do. That wouldn't surprise me. On to Arsenal versus PSG, 3-1. I mean, where do we even begin with this game? At the end of the day, the big players didn't step up. Odegaard, Jesus Christ. I mean, if you're hanging your hat on him to step up in a big moment, he is not the guy for that, is it? You're losing in a Champions League final. You've just beat Real Madrid in convincing fashion. It was absolutely an amazing win. And then you go and put in a performance like that. And now, look, I'm not saying they didn't play well. They did play well. In the first leg, they played well. In the second leg, they played well. But when you need your big players to step up, they just didn't. Bukayo Saka, absolutely love him. But that miss, yes, it come in, it bounced up before. But you've got to be scoring that. I'm sorry, that is just such a big moment where you need to put the ball in the back of the net. And if you do that, I'm not saying they come back because PSG's defence was class. But, I mean, it turns the game on its head completely. The moment that went over the bar, you kind of just thought, yeah, today is not their day. And the thing with Arteta, I mean, this guy, I'm not giving him any benefit of the doubt when it comes to these injuries. I'm sorry, you're signing injury-prone players. You're going to get injury. I also keep seeing like a lot of this, Gabriel's out. Yes, Gabriel is world-class and we don't have depth. Well, when Saliba went out last year, you brought in depth. You brought in Calafiori to cover for the left-back position and the centre-back position. You brought the depth in. It's Arteta's fault that the depth is not good enough. It's not, we don't have depth. No, you bought depth. You bought depth and the depth just isn't good enough. And at the same time, you've got Saliba and Gabriel who are world-class. No matter who comes in next, they're never going to be on the same level. You can't have 4 centre-backs who are all world-class and 2 just sat on the bench waiting. And every season it's, we need more depth, we need more depth. At some point, you've got to win with what you've got. And at the end of the day, yes, you can have really good depth on the bench, but your recruitment has been poor enough where you've brought that depth in and it's not good enough. And ultimately, the finger needs to be pointed at you because it's your fault at the end of the day. I mean, the recruitment's all wrong to the point of Miles Lewis-Skelly, absolutely incredible player. But the fact that an 18-year-old is having to come in and step up, and yes, he's been absolutely class. I'm not saying he hasn't. But the fact that an 18-year-old's coming in to step up shows that the depth hasn't been good enough. I mean, you're in a semi-final and the fans are saying, why are you not bringing on Ethan Nwaneri? Again, brilliant player. But the fact that he's still doing his A-levels should show you that your depth is not good enough if you're relying on a player that young. Now, I know it contradicts it, going back to Yamal, but there's levels to this, and he is just a world-class player, end of. Not saying that the players I've just mentioned can't be, but if you're having to hang your hat on them and saying, why are some of them not coming on, that shows that you've recruited players like Sterling who have failed. And it's not been good enough that you're having to rely on players so young in a semi-final of a Champions League where the margins are razor thin. Also, I saw a stat the other day where apparently Havertz had run the second most distance in the Premier League, and then we're surprised that he got a hamstring injury. I mean, it's quite obvious that Arteta runs these players into the ground and that the injuries happen because he does not rotate his teams and he runs them till their legs fall off, literally. I also think the poor squad management mid to late April is past being a coincidence now. I mean, it's happened the last 3 seasons in a row. Last week against Bournemouth just shows it. He didn't rest his team. PSG rest the whole team. Arsenal, they're like, no, let's just let all of them play. And actually, Partey's back now, so let's play him. And guess what? They lose that game as well. So this thing about Arsenal fans, our players have been injured. Well, since Saka's come back, you haven't looked at any better anyway. I'm not saying Saka's not a good player, but it just shows this whole thing of, if we had our full team. Well, you've had your full team for quite a while. And not much has changed. You're still losing when it matters. But props to PSG. I mean, Luis Enrique being a potential 2-time treble winner with a different team, I mean, that should be spoken about a lot more than it is. And also, I don't think there's someone who deserves it more than him. I mean, given what happened with his daughter, I mean, who are we rooting for in that final is probably PSG for that exact reason. But also, PSG make football fun. I mean, watching that midfield three against Arsenal was an absolute joy. The way PSG were playing football was like football from a decade plus ago. It made you want to watch football the way they were playing. It wasn't this pragmatic play where we're going to pass it around the back and the centre-backs are going to have 80 passes between them before we make a progressive pass. It was, no, let's just ping it down the channels, let Dembele run them, and that youngster who looks an absolute joke, and just try and attack. And our midfield three are going to run from minute 0 to minute 90, and we will give everything we have to win this game. We're not here to draw. We're not here to play boring. We're here to win the game in leg 1 and leg 2. I do think PSG have been the best team in Europe. I do think they've been an absolute joy to watch. And like I said, Luis Enrique is probably the main reason why I'm actually rooting for PSG in this final. Do I think PSG are going to win the game? Most likely not, because Inter in a one-off game, playing pragmatic, having a low block, countering the way they did against Barca, and the heart that they showed against Barca to come back in the final seconds to then win in extra time. I mean, they lost to City a few years back in the final. I can't see them losing this. I just think there's something in the air for Inter. I feel like it's a bit destined for them to happen. PSG still haven't won in Europe. So they're probably going to be going into that game a bit unnervy. And now look, there's always got to be a time where the rule book goes out the window and a team rewrites history. But I just have a feeling in a one-off game that Inter will probably beat PSG. Do I think Inter are the best team in Europe? No. I think PSG have been that this year, if not Barcelona. But in one-off games, in Champions League finals, you need a bit of luck. This team doesn't always win. And ultimately, I just have a feeling that we might be in for another one of them games where Inter come along, do a low block, and they counter and they end up nicking it. Let me know who you think is going to win the Champions League final. Like I said, I'm rooting for PSG. I do think Inter will win it. So I'm not trying to cover all bases here, but I do think Inter will probably win, but I'm rooting for PSG. Let me know what you guys think. And if you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, and follow for more. And I'll see you guys later.